Welcome to the Deep Dive. We take your articles, your research, mix it with our own notes, and really try to pull out the most important bits of knowledge for you. The mission today. Basically, give you a shortcut, get you properly informed, maybe find some surprising facts, those aha moments, all without drowning you in information. And today we're diving into something that, well, it might genuinely surprise you. It's Portugal's pretty incredible robotics and drone revolution. I mean, when you think Portugal, usually it's history, beaches, maybe those custard tarts, right? Pastéis de nata.
Definitely.
But under that surface, there's this high-tech shift happening. It's quickly turning the country into a real hub for advanced automation.
And what's really interesting here is why this matters so much. Even, beyond Portugal itself, it's not just a local thing. It's actually a great case study. It shows how this kind of automation can, well, reshape whole sectors. It tackles big challenges like labor shortages, which is a huge deal with an aging workforce, and it really drives innovation, makes economies more competitive globally.
Right.
And things like their Industria 4.0 initiative, that's not just talk. It shows a serious national commitment to modernizing, putting tech right into the economic fabric.
That national commitment really does set the stage, doesn't it? So, for everyone listening, what exactly are we going to cover today? Where are we going on this journey?
Well, we're going to explore how Portugal's using these technologies in some really interesting ways. Think vineyards in the Douro Valley, but also big environmental monitoring projects, complex logistics. We'll introduce you to some of the key companies and people making it happen, look at the benefits, obviously, but also talk honestly about the hurdles and what the future might hold for robots and drones there. Okay, so to really get why Portugal's gaining this momentum, we probably need to look at the reasons why these technologies are becoming so essential there. What do you see as the main drivers? Why this big demand for robots and drones right now? Well, fundamentally, it kind of boils down to the fact that automation, whether it's robots on the ground or drones in the air, it's just increasingly vital if you want to compete globally. And Portugal's no different. Like we mentioned, those government plans, Industria 4.0, they're not just buzzwords. It's a real national push to modernize how things are made and how services are delivered.
And robotics are central to that push.
Exactly. They're right at the heart of it. By bringing together advanced sensors, smart machine learning, precision mechanics, Portugal is really well placed to tackle big issues. Things like significant labor shortages. That's a common problem in traditional sectors like farming, especially when you factor in an aging population and people moving away.
Right, the demographics play a big part.
They do. And at the same time, this tech helps boost sustainability, spurs innovation across loads of important sectors.
So, okay, the tech itself is a driver. But what else is helping Portugal get this edge? What are the other foundational bits?
A really critical factor is what Portugal already has. A growing pool of tech-savvy workers and a pretty solid network of universities and research centers. That combination, it's created this environment where high-tech businesses can actually thrive. You see big multinationals setting up R&D there, but also these dynamic local startups building amazing drone tech. So the groundwork, it's been laid pretty carefully. It's this mix of talent, institutional backup, and that sort of entrepreneurial buzz that really makes Portugal a serious player in Europe's tech scene.
And what's cool is how it's affecting even the really traditional areas, like the Douro Valley. Most people picture those incredible ancient terraced vineyards, right? UNESCO World Heritage Site, amazing wine. Historically, keeping those steep vineyards going meant really hard, back-breaking work.
Oh, incredibly intensive.
But now it's changing.
Yeah, this is where you really see tradition bumping up against cutting-edge tech.
Yeah.
You've got a new wave of robots and drones basically stepping in to make managing vineyards, well, much more efficient and sustainable too. Some wineries there are using these specialized autonomous robots. They can actually handle the really tricky, uneven ground.
Wow.
Doing things like precision weeding, selective trimming, even helping out with the harvest. They use GPS, LiDAR, that's the light pulsing tech for 3D maps.
Right, LiDAR.
Or advanced computer vision. These machines cut down the physical toll on workers massively, and they reduce chemical use because they can target pests so precisely.
Which must be huge in the Douro with those super steep, rocky slopes. Manual labor must be incredibly tough and expensive there.
Exceptionally difficult, yeah. So this tech makes a real difference.
And it's not just robots on the ground, is it? What about drones? What are they doing for crop monitoring, and how does that fit with the ground robots?
Well, so drones equipped with multispectral cameras, these see light beyond what we can see, picking up subtle changes in plant health or soil moisture.
Stuff the human eye would miss.
Exactly. They fly over, capture critical data on how the vines are doing, soil conditions, even tiny variations in the microclimate. Then the growers, the viticulturists, they can look at this data almost instantly, spot diseases early, adjust watering with much more accuracy.
So it's hyper-targeted.
Precisely. That deeper insight from the multispectral data means you can intervene just where needed. Saves resources, better for the environment. And it's not just grapes. You see similar precision agriculture taking hold in olive groves down in Alentejo, fruit orchards in the Algarve. It's making Portuguese farming tougher, more resilient, more efficient with resources.
Okay, so optimizing crops is one thing, but that same precision, I guess it's also really valuable for protecting Portugal's natural landscapes. Let's talk about environmental monitoring conservation. Portugal has an amazing range of parks and marine reserves, Serra da Estrela Mountains, the Azores waters. Monitoring all that manually sounds almost impossible.
It's incredibly time-consuming, yeah. Costly, often risky too. So drones and robots, they offer completely new ways to gather data and help maintain that ecological balance. Agencies like the ICNF, that's the Institute for Nature Conservation and Forests, they're actively using drone monitoring systems.
What for, specifically?
Things like mapping habitats for endangered species, tracking illegal dumping in remote spots, keeping an eye on large reforestation projects. It's just much more efficient. And out in the ocean and along the coast, you've got autonomous submarines and underwater drones. They're collecting vital water quality data, mapping complex coral reefs, monitoring fish stocks.
Which is crucial for sustainable fishing and marine protection.
Absolutely, especially with Portugal's massive coastline and its exclusive economic zone.
This must also tie into disaster response, too. That seems really important, especially with things like wildfires, which seem more common now in the hot, dry summers there.
That's a critical application.
Yeah.
How do you react faster, more effectively? Drones with thermal cameras, they can spot the tiny heat signatures of wildfires starting sometimes before you'd see any smoke.
Wow, that early.
Yeah, gives authorities precious time to get firefighting teams moving. And then you might have ground robots going in to help firefighters clearing debris, maybe digging fire breaks, or just sending back vital info from areas too dangerous for people.
So it's about faster data, safer operations.
Yeah, exactly. Saving lives, minimizing damage. It's potentially game-changing.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Logistics and infrastructure. Portugal's location on the Atlantic, it makes its ports absolutely vital for trade. We're talking big hubs, Lisbon, Lexões up near Porto, Sines down in Alentejo. They handle millions of tons of cargo every year. And shipping volumes are only going up, so automation seems like an obvious fit.
It's almost a necessity, really. Automation becomes this incredibly powerful tool for just handling the sheer volume of modern global trade. We're seeing things like autonomous cargo handling self-driving cranes, AGVs, those automated guided vehicles.
Right, the robot carts.
And robotic forklifts. They move containers and goods super efficiently, way less downtime, fewer human errors. It boosts productivity, speeds things up. The real win is managing that ever-increasing cargo volume, easing bottlenecks, making the whole supply chain faster.
And it's not just moving the cargo itself, right? Maintaining all that huge port infrastructure, the giant cranes, the terminals, even ships' hulls, that must be a massive, risky, constant job.
It really is. And drones are stepping up there to reduce the hazards. Drones with high-res cameras, different sensors, they can inspect these huge structures remotely. Spotting wear, rust, corrosion early on, it makes it dramatically safer for workers who would otherwise be doing dangerous checks way up higher underwater.
And cheaper, too, presumably.
Significantly reduces the labor and cost involved in that essential maintenance. And looking a bit further out, you've got Portuguese startups and bigger companies experimenting with last-mile drone deliveries in cities.
Ah, the package delivery drones.
Yeah, the regulations are still evolving, obviously, but pilot projects are already showing the potential. Delivering medical supplies quickly, maybe high-priority goods across gridlock cities. Battery tech is getting better. Route planning software is getting smarter. It's paving the way for safer, faster drone transport, probably sooner than we think.
All this progress, this transformation, it doesn't just happen on its own. There's real ingenuity behind it. So who are the actual pioneers? Who are the Portuguese companies or groups really driving this?
Well, one name that comes up a lot is Turkiver. They're a really prominent Portuguese drone company. They specialize in UAVs, unmanned aerial vehicles, mainly for things like maritime surveillance, helping in disasters, border security.
Serious applications.
Very serious. Turkiver's actually gained a lot of international recognition. Their drones have been used in European maritime missions watching for illegal fishing, trafficking, even environmental threats like oil spills. Their success really shows how Portuguese companies can compete globally in these very specialized tech areas.
That's impressive. And it's not only the big industrial or government stuff, is it? You mentioned innovation and personal assistance too, like follow inspiration.
Exactly. They're based near Aveiro. Follow Inspiration got known for its WeGo robot. It's essentially a smart shopping cart designed to help people with limited mobility get around stores.
Oh, interesting.
And while that specific product is for retail, it kind of represents this broader trend in Portuguese robotics innovation aimed at solving real-world problems. You see it in healthcare, hospitality, personal assistance. A big reason for this diversity is the strong link between universities and industry. Research labs at places like the University of Porto, Instituto Superior Técnico in Lisbon, they often spin off robotics and drone startups.
So research translates into business.
Yeah, collaborations start with R&D projects that maybe grow into standalone companies. It keeps this pipeline flowing, moving cutting-edge research into practical commercial use.
Now, with any fast-growing tech, there are always going to be challenges, regulations to figure out. Portugal seems pretty forward-thinking, but it's always a balancing act, isn't it? Fostering innovation versus ensuring safety, privacy, especially with drones buzzing around. What are some of the practical roadblocks?
Yeah, the balance is key. You've got ANSC, Portugal's Civil Aviation Authority.
Okay.
They set the rules for where and how drones can fly, especially near cities or airports. And those rules are vital, obviously, for protecting people and other air traffic. But sometimes startups find the approval process for new tech or new ways of using drones can be, well, pretty detailed. It takes time.
Bureaucracy can slow things down.
It can. But generally, Portugal's approach is seen as quite progressive. They seem keen to encourage responsible drone use while still leaving space for testing and pilot projects.
And it's not just rules, there are practical hurdles too, right? Like the cost of this tech up front and maybe not having enough people with the right skills.
Definitely. That initial investment is a big one. Robots and drones, they need significant spending on the hardware, the software, plus ongoing maintenance. For, say, smaller farms or conservation groups, that upfront cost can be a major barrier, even if it pays off long-term.
Makes sense.
And then there's the skills gap. Advanced robotics, mechatronics, they require very specialized knowledge. That can create shortages in the job market. To tackle this, Portuguese universities and vocational schools are actively adding more courses in robotics engineering, drone piloting, maintenance, and so on.
Training the future workforce.
Trying to, yeah. Building that pipeline of people who can operate and maintain all this new automation. It also forces a conversation about jobs, right? Automation can reduce the need for manual labor in some areas, like farming. But the focus in Portugal often seems to be on how the tech frees up humans for more complex, higher-value tasks, shifting roles rather than just replacing them.
So augmenting human work, not just automating it away.
That seems to be the goal, yeah. Maximize productivity, but manage that evolution of work carefully.
So thinking about the road ahead then, what's next for automation in Portugal? Increased autonomy seems like a big one.
Absolutely. As the sensors get better, machine learning gets smarter, network connections get faster.
Yeah.
Expect robots and drones to become way more autonomous. We're talking systems that can make complex decisions on the fly, adapt to unexpected situations, carry out tricky tasks with very little human oversight.
Which opens up even more possibilities.
Dramatically expands the potential applications, yeah.
Yeah.
From, deep sea exploration way out in the Atlantic to self-guiding delivery drones navigating Lisbon's tricky streets.
And the rollout of 5G networks must be a huge enabler for this.
Oh, a total game changer. Portugal's pushing ahead with 5G. That means faster, super reliable connections with almost zero delay or latency. For robots and drones, good 5G means real-time, high-quality data streaming and instant control. Enables really complex remote operations.
Like what?
Well, imagine a drone pilot sitting in Porto, easily managing surveys way out in the remote Douro Valley, getting near instant visual feedback, sensor data. It's going to revolutionize efficiency, response times, everything.
And you also mentioned cobots, collaborative robots.
Yeah, cobots. So traditional industrial robots are usually fenced off for safety. Cobots are different. They're designed specifically to work with people, side by side. They use advanced sensors, AI, to detect humans nearby, predict movements, avoid collisions.
So they're safe to work alongside.
That's the idea. And Portuguese factories making car parts, electronics, whatever, they're increasingly using cobots for the repetitive stuff or tasks that are awkward or strenuous for humans. It frees people up for the more creative, supervisory, higher value work.
What an incredible journey we've just taken, really, through Portugal's quiet tech revolution. It's really clear that strategically adopting robots and drones is changing industries right across the country. From those ancient vineyards we talked about, to the busy ports handling global trade, critical environmental work, even city logistics. Automation's genuinely reshaping daily life and key industries there in ways few people probably saw coming a decade ago.
Absolutely. And if you zoom out a bit, look at the bigger picture. Portugal seems clearly on this path towards becoming a real European leader in these next-gen tech solutions. You can see the momentum. It's fueled by strong academic research, that impressive private sector creativity producing companies like Discover that compete globally, and these evolving regulations that often seem quite forward-looking. It's that mix again, the growing talent pool, the institutional backing, and that real entrepreneurial energy. It genuinely positions Portugal as a serious contender on the wider tech map. Shows what can happen with a focused national strategy.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? Given Portugal's managed to weave robotics and drones in such varied traditional sectors like wine, like shipping what other seemingly old-world industries, maybe anywhere in the world, could be next for a similar kind of unexpected tech makeover. And, what surprising new challenges or maybe even benefits could that unlock? Something to chew on.
Oh. That is a powerful question to consider as we look ahead. And on that note, we definitely encourage you, the listener, to keep an eye on how this whole space develops. Because the ongoing integration of tech like 5G, like cobots, it's undoubtedly going to keep opening up new possibilities. It'll keep reshaping how we all work and live, probably in ways we haven't even imagined yet.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive today. We look forward to exploring more with you next time.